Hello young minds of class 8, I am your English grammar digital mentor. Today we will start with chapter number 3 of your book, which is nouns. So let's get started with the starter part. Here we have to underline the nouns in the given description of Taj Mahal. So we'll read the sentences and underline the nouns. Let's start. The Taj Mahal is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. In this sentence, Taj Mahal is the noun, so we will underline that. Next, it is in Agra, Uttar Pradesh of India. In this sentence, Agra, Uttar Pradesh and India. These 3 are nouns, so we will underline them. I hope you are doing that with your pens. You have to do with me. Now next, it was made by the Mughal Emperor of India, Shah Jahan, in the memory of his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. So in this sentence, Mughal Emperor, India, Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. These all are nouns, so we will keep underlining them. This beautiful building is made up of white marbles. So here, building and white marbles are nouns, so we will underline them. Let's see the definition of nouns, which is part number A of this chapter. A noun is a part of speech used to name people, places, things, animals, events, actions, qualities or feelings. So part number B says we have different kinds of nouns. Nouns are of 5 kinds. First is common noun, proper noun, collective noun, material noun and abstract noun. Let's study about them one by one. So let's start with the part number C, which is common noun. Noun that refer to the name common to every member of the class or a kind are called common nouns. For example, boy, girl, city, state, river, etc. Now part number D is proper noun. Noun that refers to the name of a particular person, place or thing are called proper nouns. For example, Mohit, Megha, Chennai, Assam, Brahmaputra, etc. are examples of a proper noun. Now let's see part number E, which is collective noun. Nouns that refer to the name of a group of person or things taken together are called collective nouns. For example, army, team, bunch, herd, flock, etc. Now part number F is material noun. Nouns that refer to the name of a material of which a thing is made up of are called material noun. For example, cotton, silk, wood, butter, iron, etc. These all are example of material nouns. Now next part is part number G, which is abstract noun. Nouns that refer to the quality, concept and feeling that we can only perceive or understand are called abstract noun. Abstract noun have no physical or concrete existence. For example, childhood, friendship, kindness, knowledge, wisdom, etc. are examples of abstract noun. Now let's do some questions related to these concepts, which is part number H. Here we have to underline the nouns in the following sentences. Write their kinds. First part has been already done for you. So let's start with second part of the question. Second part is our team played a match against them. In this sentence, team is a noun, so we will underline that. And we also have to tell what type of noun it is. So team is a collective noun. So we will write team / collective noun. In the same manner, you have to do rest of the parts of this exercise by yourself. Let's start with part number I, which is formation of abstract noun. Abstract nouns are usually formed with 3 types of words, namely common noun, verbs and adjectives by adding different suffixes like ship, meant, hood, nest, ism, ty, th, etc. Now here are some examples of abstract noun from common nouns. So in the first column some common nouns are written and in the second word abstract nouns are written. So let's read them one by one. First one is friend and the abstract noun from this is friendship. Next is slave. Abstract noun will be slavery. Next is thief. Abstract noun will be theft. Next is boy and abstract noun will be boyhood. Next is king. Abstract noun will be kingdom. And for infant, it will be infancy. Next are some example of abstract noun from adjective. So we'll first read adjective, then the abstract noun made from the word. So first word is brave and abstract noun will be bravery. Next is courageous. Abstract noun will be courage. For jealous, it will be jealousy. For angry, it will be anger. Generous, it will be generosity. Joyful, it will be joy. Similarly, next are some examples of abstract noun from verbs. So first verb is appear and abstract noun will be appearance. Next is believe. Abstract noun will be belief. Next is educate. Abstract noun will be education. Similarly, next is annoy. Abstract noun will be annoyance. Then inform, information, energize, energy. Now using this concept, we have to make abstract noun from these common nouns given in this question. Let's see the first part. First part is anxious. The abstract noun will be anxiety. Similarly, next is loyal. Abstract noun will be loyalty. In the similar manner, you have to do rest of the three parts of this exercise by yourself. Let's move on to the another part of this chapter, which is part number K, nouns. Case. The case of a noun tells us how the nouns stand in relation with the other words, especially the verb in the sentence. Given below are three most common noun cases. First is subjective, next is objective, and then it is possessive. Let's read about them one by one. First one is subjective case. Read the following sentences. Ruby bought a new mobile phone yesterday. Second is they built a house. In the first sentence, Ruby is the subject of the verb bought. It answers the question who bought a new mobile phone yesterday. Similarly, in the second sentence, they is the subject of the verb built. In a sentence, when a noun or a pronoun is used as subject of a verb, it is said to be the subjective case. Let's see the objective case. Now read the following sentences. First one is Mona painted a picture. Second is she ate an apple. In sentence number 1, a picture acts as the object of the verb painted. In the sentence number 2, an apple acts as the object of a verb ate. When a noun or a pronoun acts as the object of the verb, it is said to be in the objective case. A noun or a pronoun which comes after preposition is also said to be in the objective case. In such a case, the noun or the pronoun acts as the object of the preposition and not the verb. For example, the book is on the table. Here, table is in the objective case because it functions as the object of the preposition on. Now, related to this concept, we have to do some questions. That is the part number L of this question. We have to write subjective or objective for the underlined nouns in the following sentence. First one is Simi sang a melancholy song. Since Simi is a noun, so it will be a subjective one. Similarly, you have to do rest of the parts of this exercise on your own. We'll move to the next part of this chapter, which is part number N, possessive case. Now read the following sentence. This is Ruhi's bag. Ruhi's bag means the bag belonging to Ruhi. Here, the form of noun Ruhi has been changed to show ownership or possession. The noun Ruhi's is there in the possessive case. Possessive case in the singular is written as noun plus apostrophe s. For example, we heard a lion's roar in the forest. Second point is Guni's choice was the best of all. The possessive case of plural noun that ends with an s is shown by adding an apostrophe after s. For example, the girls' project were praised. All the cars' color is either red or white. The possessive case of plural nouns that do not end with s is shown by adding s after the noun. For example, the children's toys are new. Is there a man's washroom? Here are some other ways to form possessive case. Hyphenated or compound nouns form their possessive form by adding an apostrophe plus s at the end of the noun. For example, my father-in-law's son are lazy. When two nouns have joint ownership, add the apostrophe plus s to the last one. Priya and Rani's father had bought them a new computer. Now, when two nouns have different ownership, add apostrophe plus s to both. For example, Harpreet's and Manpreet's coat are black and blue. Related to this concept, we'll do some of the questions. Here we have to rewrite the following sentences using the apostrophe in the appropriate places. Let's see the first part. Dinah's umbrella is red. So here, Dinah's, between Dinah and s, we'll put apostrophe. So it will become Dinah apostrophe s. Umbrella is red. Similarly, you have to do rest of the parts of this question by yourself. With that, we come to an end of this chapter. I hope you understood and enjoy the concept. Don't forget to do as much as question as you can. And if you have any doubt, you can refer your teacher. Till then, take care. We'll meet in the next chapter.